Jarvis, drop my needle.
Joy to the world. The Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. King, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Glad tidings we bring to you and your Hulk. Glad tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I am Groot. 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 Groot. I am Groot. 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 Groot.
Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to the BAM Xmas podcast.
Episode 20.
Episode 20. We've made it to 20 whole episodes at this festive time of the year. I should feel like, although that was a good song, we should have our own Christmas anthem.
It's a good song. It's done the rounds on the YouTube.
We should have a charity single like,
Yeah.
It's Bamsmas time.
I like that. Only if we can do an 80s style video like Wham's Last Christmas.
Comics falling
Yeah.
all around.
Who's that? Was that Paul McCartney?
Shaking Stevens.
Oh,
How
sorry.
dare you? How dare you?
What's the Paul McCartney Wings one? The terrible one.
Oh, that was the bling bling bling.
Yeah, hate that.
Bling bling bling.
Hate
bling.
that.
Simply
That's it,
having
yeah.
wonderful
Oh.
A
comics.
wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, worst episode ever now. That's it, you've ruined it for me now. Can't do it.
So, who made that song? What we just listened to, and then
That
they
is
will
a
introduce us.
Very talented gentleman called James Covenant.
I have
And that was, if you couldn't pick it up from that was splicing together sound bites from the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
shite films.
Ah.
And that's probably the very reason that listeners are tuning in, because today we're gonna wrap up our definitive top 10
We are.
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know that's what you're listening for, but look, before we get to that,
We're going to go for a war in the stars.
we are, but we're going to bloody introduce ourselves first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because just in case 20 episodes in, they don't know, it's me, your boy Neil, and then to my left we have,
Stu.
and then 1,100,000 miles away, we've got Carly.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, she put a spin on it.
I like
I switched it up a
Okay.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
No, it's fine.
Terrible.
No, it's fine. It's staying in now.
Yeah, it's going in.
It's almost Christmas. We don't have time to edit anything, so it's
Yeah.
staying in. So we are here in England. We've got our Christmas jerseys on.
You're wearing a very fetching Star Wars jumper.
Thanks. As
I like
are you wearing a very fetching Batman
Oh, it's got
Christmas
Santa
jumper.
on it.
We'll put a picture up of that later. But
Yeah.
Carly, it's a million miles away and probably not in a Christmas jumper because it's too bloody hot where she
Oh.
is.
I know, and actually, just as you said that, not showing off, but the air conditioning unit's just kicked in and it's really loud, so I apologise.
Can't hear it. We can't hear it.
That's all right. That's all right. But yeah, so it's just us boys,
Mm.
which is fine. We've got our eggnog on the go.
We have.
We've got the
Good size.
We've got the mistletoe, but it's only us, so we'll have an eggy kiss later.
we got our-
keep kissing me.
We've got our jingle balls out, haven't we?
We have got our jingle balls out. Look, if you listen closely,
It's Christmas.
you know it's Christmas because there's festive props.
Right.
Right, and
There
on
we
that, and on that audio death. Right, what we got coming up in the show, Stu?
So, as you mentioned, we've got our final part of our top 10 rundown.
The definitive.
Definitive.
No one can reorder these movies ever
Oh.
again after we've had our say.
Once it's done, once it's said, it's done, you know. So we'll have a top 5. Before we get to that, we are going to go really Christmassy
Right.
with our talk about the new Star Wars film.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing says Christmas
Yay.
more than Star Wars.
Yeah, that's all right now, because
Yeah.
it is, if it's Christmas, there's a new Star Wars film in the cinema. It totally works.
It is, totally is.
So you're talking about Rouge One,
Yeah, talk about Rouge One.
right?
The Makeup Awakens. So what did
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah, I did.
you two are on fire.
It's the eggnog, mate. Took me a
Yeah.
little second.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. I mean, obviously, we are a comic book podcast, so
Yeah.
you're probably going to say, why are we going to talk about a Star Wars movie?
It's not like us to talk about
Yeah.
popular films.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are going to tenuously justify talking about that by talking about the comics around it. So I'm going to give a brief little history of Star Wars in comics.
Do you want the 20th Century Fox fanfare?
We can do in a minute. We can always edit it in. Is that still relevant now? It's Disney
it's
now,
not.
Isn't it? So
They just like go.
like it.
No, I'm not going to do the whole thing because
So we just dive in.
Dive in your typewriter or something.
So usual disclaimer: if
Right.
you haven't seen Rogue One, probably a good idea to turn off now.
Still there.
Still there.
Okay, we've seen Rogue One.
Right. First question about Rogue One then.
Right. No, it doesn't have that.
So no. So not much chance for sequel then, really, is there?
It's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. But apparently, half the cast are signed on for a second movie.
So I'd heard it was only Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones. Where did she come from? Never encountered her before.
She was in the. Oh my God! What's it called? The movie with the guy in the wheelchair.
The movie with the guy in the wheelchair.
It's the biopic.
X-Men.
No.
No.
I've gone blank.
Is it that one that all the ladies
No,
in
it's
the
the
train
famous
read?
scientist guy, Theory of the Universe.
Turing theory.
No!
What? You're talking
The Turing.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, that's the one.
Oh.
She's in that, is she?
Yes.
She Mrs. Hawkins.
Yeah. So what's the movie called? Anyway.
Anyway, she's in that. She's in that if you like to watch that.
And she's in that, and also she's in the new kids movie, A Monster Calls.
Alright.
But yeah, apparently I heard she's optioned,
Right.
and my rumour...
He's nice, I like her.
She's lovely, we like her. I think she'll probably
she's
turn up
nice.
in the Han Solo movie.
Yeah,
Which
that's a good
will
show.
be set before.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much chance for sequel, but hypothetically,
Right.
if Marvel were to do a comic tie-in, what characters would you like to see in a comic? What backstories do you think?
Chirrut, Imwe. I've
Yeah.
been thinking a lot about this.
Yeah, she's diving straight in there.
She has been thinking a lot about him.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Was it due to his awesome martial arts prowess?
Yeah, but also, I understand why they didn't really go into any sort of backstory or origin story of any of the characters that were in that movie because it's not about that. But Chirrut, is that how you say it? Chirrut? I never really heard his name in the movie. I had to look it up after. But why is he blind? And also, what's this whole thing with the mantra that he would keep saying about, what was it about the Force or something?
I'm one with the Force,
I am
the Force
is with me, or something like that. I'm one with the Force. I mean, he's not a Jedi. He's got he's an empathetic Jedi, maybe.
Perhaps
Or
more
a sympathetic
sensitive.
Jedi.
Well,
I'm sort of interested in who he is and what he is and why is he blind? How did that happen? Was he
there's a
born
lot of
that
stuff.
way? Or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm just interested. He was the most interesting character to me.
There's a lot of stuff that wasn't really explained on that. I mean, I think they mention when they turn up at Jeddah that it's to do with the Wills. I got the impression it's some kind of monastic order that kind of protect the Jedi temples, and it's very nichey. But apparently, George Lucas's original draft of the Star Wars screenplay was called something like "Journal of the Wills: The Saga of Luke Skywalker." The Star Wars or something was the original title for the first one.
Bit of a tongue twister.
So it does seem a bit proper nerdy. They've kind of gone back and pulled out this Wills, and it's Wills. I think it's spelled like Wills.
Quills.
Wills. Yeah.
Quills.
It's like a cool whip.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you didn't really get explained. I feel it's a bit sneaky that they're probably just going to get you to go and buy the books. Apparently, the whole relationship between Krennic and Galen Erso is apparently explained in the prequel book.
Right.
Which is it's lovely, but I kind of feel you should get that in the movie, a little bit of that in the movie, a flavour of why there's that kind of animosity. Apparently there's a whole scene where his wife literally pulls a gun on him.
Yeah.
There's a whole reason for that in the book, but it's right, I get that, but you should have that in the movie. You should have that.
But then on the flip side to that, I quite like how they didn't spend really any time going into too much detail about any of the characters, because I don't have the same background knowledge of Star Wars as a lot of other people. I like Star Wars. I really like Star Wars. I will always go and watch a Star Wars film. I won't really go out of my way to read the comics, and I probably wouldn't spend too much time worrying about all the lore behind all of the storylines and who does what and who's from where. I forget most of it and the names are really confusing. But I really like how in the movie they didn't spend too much time going into people's origin stories and stuff like that, because it was about an ill-fated, well, a suicide mission really, and that was of the most interest to me. But then, like you say, there are a few holes that probably could be filled a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
it was almost like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but less tacky.
Yeah, but I mean that's become its defining criticism. Is there was literally next to no character development for any of these characters. I didn't care about a single one of them, apart from your Craddock. I liked him as a villain, and I liked the Rubbit as well. K2.
Yeah, K2 is the only one I think was. I was actually like, oh.
When he died.
When he can't do it. But the others, I didn't really care. I was kind of, I think when I got to the end, when it was just Jin and, is it Andor? Again, I have problems remembering the name, because it was kind of
I
like...
can't remember the names.
But when it was those two at the end, I was like, oh, right, they're both going to survive then. And I was like, no, they are going to die. They're dead.
Everyone
that surprised me. At that point, I was actually surprised. I didn't care, in the sense, I wasn't like gutted, but I was actually like, oh, they've actually gone there. They've actually wiped out every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, I was impressed by that.
Yeah, no, I like that they had the balls to kill off the entire cast, but I really struggled to care about any of them at all.
No,
so the only spin-outs of it I would like to see is K2, or give me some more Darth.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there any, so your character out of the Rogue One crew with probably K2 you'd like to perhaps read more in a comic, but...
Yeah.
We've got Darth, we've had like 2 years worth of Darth Vader.
Yep, yes we do. That's your Kieran Gillen, isn't it? And he's continuing on with Doctor after him.
He has. It's a spin-off character from that, so... That'd be good to see her in a movie, wouldn't it? Never going to happen.
Might happen. It's not up to us. Not up to us.
No.
It's not up to us.
Should be.
Stop putting the pressure on.
Should be. Yeah, apparently Marvel were going to do a Rogue One comic book, but cancelled it.
Right.
Quite late on in the production, which is interesting. I feel that maybe they're worried that it might have leaked, like the
yeah. Star Wars movies have had a lot of problems with leaks in the past.
Yeah.
Plus, it's such a one shot. Everything's definitive. They wouldn't want anything leaking out.
Exactly.
Wasn't it? God, it's terrible. Donnie Yen? Is that his name?
Donnie Yen.
Yeah. Like he leaked. He leaked like someone died, but in a press conference.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just found it out. He's like, oh, just wait till the emotions you'll feel when this guy dies, and it's like,
oh my god.
But yeah, everyone died. I mean, God, we knew they were all going to die.
I thought at least 1 or 2 would survive.
Yeah, I didn't think they were all going to cark it.
Are we ever going to see Rogue 2, which is just made up of just those Bothans?
What, for the Return of the Jedi? It's funny because a lot of people get mixed up. They always go, yeah, apparently wasn't it Bothans who... Many Bothans died to, get those plans. That's what happened at the beginning of New Hope. But it's like, no, that's the other Death Star. You have to remember the Empire loves a good Death Star,
They do.
Or a Star Killer base.
So Bothans, if you don't know, are just pretty much a race of about 4'5" dogs.
They're whiskery, aren't they?
They got whiskers. They basically look like dogs.
Yeah. But
they walk on 2 legs.
And they've never been in the movies?
Never been in the movies. Right. But yeah. So if you want to watch a Star Wars movie about dog people, I'm not going to be a... No.
I don't know. I don't think we'll get that. I think they're going to have enough on their plate getting the last 2 parts of this trilogy done. Han Solo.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, apparently, is going to be the 3rd one.
So is Lando getting his own movie, or is it just going to be in Han Solo's?
I reckon they probably optioned him.
Yeah.
And I'll just see how he's received in the Han Solo movie.
Okay. That's smart.
Which again, I'll say, I think Ursula will be in that. Oh, I'm sorry, Carly's shocked by that. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, you guys know a lot more about Star Wars than I do.
Allegedly.
But,
but we do have lives as well, just for the record. We do have lives as well. We're not complete.
Yeah.
I have kissed at least 2 girls.
You like to cook, for example.
I do like to cook, but Neil's had sex at least once because he's dead.
I'm always a little bit wary of taking sort of side stories too far and creating too many movies about things. And there's already a lot of Star Wars movies already, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't make any more, but I really liked Rogue One, and as somebody who, like I said before, doesn't really go too in depth with all of the finer details of Star Wars, I really liked Rogue One, and I was excited after watching Rogue One to watch to watch the movies again to just see how that ties in and broaden my understanding of the whole Death Star, the plans and all of that.
Did you watch that link I sent of the slightly dodgy edit?
Yeah.
So basically someone edited the final scene of Rogue One, which is the whole them getting the plans on the I think the ship's called the Tantive 4. I did a bit of research.
Bloody hell.
It's basically the rebels, scrabbling to get those plans to the Captain Antilles, who then gives it to waxy Leia, who looks a bit like she's come off the Polar Express animated movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, was it Polar Express? With
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Christmas themes. Ties in. All ties in.
Yeah, and so someone's edited that scene with the beginning of The New Hope, and it's bloody seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Really good. Like I thought it'd jar. I thought it'd be like, oh, it's modern, cutting to 1970s, but actually it flows really well.
Yeah.
And
But
it also,
do you feel a little bit like they're going to go, that could go too far with making more spin-off movies? Do you think it might get to a point where people are just going to get a bit tired of it, or do you think that they do it so well that won't happen and people just want more and more?
If they do it well, then I think no one's going to complain. I mean, I think this was great. It wasn't by any stretch a perfect movie. I've seen loads of kind of backlash on social media from people saying, they just didn't like it, and Krennic was a terrible villain. I thought he was all right.
Oh, it was great.
I don't think he was bad.
Yeah. And people were saying, the CGI was awful on Tarkin, who I have to say was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah. The only thing I said is the waxy Leia at the end was a bit, a bit of a toe curler, but it's still fair play. I think that will look better on TV than it did on the big screen. Watching it in 3D IMAX with her big waxy eyes.
And her face literally the size of a house.
It did kind of uncanny valley. Didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I didn't find it that shocking because when you walk down the street on South Beach, you see people that just look like that anyway.
Fair dues.
So that was like, okay, that's kind of normal.
Yeah, you don't really get that in Hertfordshire, do you, though?
No, not too much. Not too much.
Well, you get a bit hot there, Neil.
I am getting a bit hot. I'm taking my top off.
Yeah.
It's Christmas for sure.
That's it.
Christmas sweat.
Yeah, Christmas sweat. Was that my jingling balls?
Yeah.
Fair enough. How many BAMs out of 5 would you have given it?
4.5, I think.
Oh, okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'd have went for a 4 BAMs. What about you, Carly?
I would have gone for 4 BAMs.
Okay.
Yeah, like you say, I don't think it was a perfect movie by any means, but I bloody enjoyed myself.
It's also worth
loved
mentioning that Neil lost his 4DX virginity as well.
I did.
With that.
I had
How was it?
I like the bits where the seats move, where things are flying. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
All the rest of it was just far too gimmicky. And your 3D glasses are like sunglasses. So, like, the whole film was like, I mean, I know it's a dark film anyway, but it was so dark. Like, I often strained to see stuff on the screen.
I'm kind of curious to see it in normal vision.
Yeah.
To see if it is as dark as that. I
I just want to sit on the couch and watch it.
Mm.
I thought it was fine. I wasn't really hyped until a couple of days before. Like, the marketing did nothing for me, but I really enjoyed it as a romp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I've seen a lot more shitter movies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sorry.
What was that?
Getting over a cold, so I'm sort of... That'll be edited.
Was that your Forrest Whitaker, like, He doesn't do subtle anymore, does he? Forrest Whitaker used to be like a really...
He was a bit weak in that, wasn't he? Is that...
Well, he's a pre-existing character, I suppose. Like, apparently if you watch the Clone Wars, he's in that tons.
And if you watch the trailer for Rogue One, the first one with him in it,
and
then you see the movie, radically different hair.
Oh yeah, he's had a buzz cut. Yeah. So I meant Rebels, not Clone Wars.
Okay.
Fucked it, dude. Well, I did that.
It's fine.
You can't have me look a fool in front of Star Wars.
It's fine.
Yeah. I clawed it back.
Yeah.
Clawed it back.
So, I'm probably going to age myself here, but I kind of have fond Christmas memories of getting like the new Star Wars annual, which sort of adapted comics from the Marvel first run back in like 70s and 80s.
You are.
But that's probably before your time, wasn't it? I mean,
funnily enough, my mum did give me the Star Wars annual this year, but it just goes along with Force Awakens,
right?
And there's no comics.
I was about to say no comics. What's no point?
No,
I've noticed that. I bought like annuals for
random kids,
random children.
Yeah.
I'm like North Hertfordshire's slightly.
Let's not incriminate yourself any further.
Anyway, so I buy annuals for friends' kids, and I'm kind of disappointed that a lot of them aren't they don't actually have any comic strips in them anymore. And that was, for me, that was like part of the thing. You'd get more comics and you'd have a couple of articles. Now it's all articles and puzzle shit.
It's so hard to get good comics for kids these days.
Yeah.
Lord knows I've tried.
But you have been buying stuff recently, like adaptations of the first 6 movies.
You might have saw it in the shops there. I've forgotten the company that's brought them out now, but yeah, in the kids section they did the adaptation of the first 3, which were bloody good. I think they were originally published in Europe, so all they've done is put English over the top of them.
Yeah,
and they've done 6 movies now, and I believe the Force Awakens is out in January. So I'm sending it to my wife's friend's kid, who's out in Phoenix, and doesn't really have a news agent that they can run to get comics. And there's not many comic shops out that way, so apparently he's been loving them. The art in them has been amazing.
It's really manga style.
Yeah, really manga style. And we were fortunate enough to meet the editor of that magazine, and he was telling me about like the decisions that they have to take with it being a kids mag. It's quite funny. Like Boba Fett's, like his death is completely written out for like time.
From the comic? The Jedi comic?
Yeah. He doesn't even appear on Jabba's sail barge. Like written out completely.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Kind of sad, really, because apparently, if the stories are true, George Lucas had bigger plans for Boba Fett in Jedi.
I'm sure he did.
And then just canned it.
Yeah, he was going to be like the lead villain. Yeah. Got to listen to us, like a couple of old Star Wars hens clucking away.
Well, we've met Boba Fett, haven't we?
We have met Boba Fett. Oh, God, yeah, was that right back at the start of when...
Yeah.
Was that before we started?
Before we started. That was January 2015. It was for the launch of, or the relaunch of Marvel's new Star Wars comics. They had a signing at Limited Edition Comics in good old Stevenage. Yeah. And they had Jeremy Bulloch.
He was a lovely old man.
Yeah, it wasn't the voice of Boba Fett, he was the body of Boba Fett.
Yeah. What a bod. What a bod.
My favourite moment, though, is we're all queuing up to get our copies signed and some mother's going, but who's Bobby Fate? Who's Bobby Fate?
Sounds like just a 70s footballer, doesn't he, Bobby Fate?
I like it.
Yeah.
Still, he was lovely.
It was lovely.
A little confused as to why he was there, but...
Yeah. I've still got my copy of issue 1 signed on the wall.
Yes, so. I do. Yeah. I do.
Thanks, Jezza. Sure he listens.
Yeah, you will do. You will do. God, where were we? We've tripped up on our own Star Wars nostalgia. Help get us out of the Star Wars swamps, dude.
Do you want us to get out of the Star Wars swamp, or do you want to have a bit, kind of drop some trivia bombs on you?
I suspect you were going to drop some trivia anyway, so let me have them. Blast me with your trivia Death Star gun.
Well, I tried to kind of segue into it, but you've kind of answered it. I said, did you guys ever get the annuals? To which that was a categorical no. And a silence from Miami, which I think is a no.
I used to
get... it's a no.
Yeah.
I used to get the G.I. Joe Action Force annual, which has lovely comics in it.
Yeah.
But no, not Star Wars.
But I did. I got these.
You did.
And because apparently I was too young to go and see Star Wars first time around.
Right.
So I actually had like the Star Wars annual, which adapted the Marvel Comics series. So that was my kind of Star Wars thing.
Wow.
Before the internet, before you could have like videos and DVDs, the only way of kind of reliving those stories was to kind of go through the novelizations or the comic book stuff. It was actually one of Marvel's most popular comics, and got them out of financial shtuck in the 70s. They're having real issues.
Hey.
But apparently it wasn't a done deal. When Stan Lee was first approached back in 75 by Lucasfilm, he turned it down. Couldn't see the potential for it. And it took a marketing guy from Lucasfilm to hit up a chap called Roy Thomas, who was a writer-editor at Marvel.
Yeah.
And Stan Lee's right-hand man to kind of persuade him to take it on.
Yeah.
And what sold it for him was, you've probably seen this before. I'm going to show Neil, but I'll email it to you. We'll put it on our new Tumblr page.
Hey, look at that.
Here we go. So it's a Ralph McQuarrie concept sketch.
Yeah.
Of the Cantina. It's, if you know your Star Wars stuff and you looked at the art books, you'll know this one. It's got like a Stormtrooper and C-3PO and R2-D2. An unrecognisable, I presume that's Han Solo.
Yeah.
Confronting a pointy-eared alien. So apparently Roy Thomas saw this sketch and was like, yes, we'll do this, and I want to write it.
But what was the reason that Stanley turned it down to start with? Is it just because it was in like the early development stages?
Yeah, I mean, this is before. I mean, obviously, it's kind of hard to think that Star Wars was ever a tough sell, But I think back then it was like sci-fi wasn't popular. It was just a bit hokey. But what appealed to Roy Thomas was the whole idea of like a Western in space, which at the time hadn't really been done before. Yeah, and the deal they got, which was kind of, they didn't think it would sell that well. They said, look, we won't pay you royalties, Lucasfilm, Mr. Lucas, until you sell over 100,000 copies, thinking that isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But
That was a mistake.
it was. It smashed through it, and I think it's the most reprinted comic of all time.
Oh.
Because you consider, they did loads of reprints, which was a rare thing in the 70s anyway.
Yeah.
And it's been in collected edition books, paperback books.
Yeah.
Marvel have got the license back again, and they've done like deluxe hardcover books. So that first issue on its own is one of the most reprinted comics of all time.
Good little.
And I was reading also that like Marvel, because obviously the first issue of the comic was released about 6 months before the first movie was released, that they could be a bit more like visually creative with the characters. So, like, wasn't Yoda blue or something to start with?
Well, yeah, I mean that was for Empire. So I think when the first run of Star Wars came out, I think they had like the third issue had come out before the movie. And so if you look at the very first comic, the very first issue of Star Wars, you'll look at how they've drawn Luke Skywalker, and then you look at how he's drawn in like the second and third issues,
Totally
and they're radically different. Yeah, like Luke in the first issue looks a lot older than he actually is.
Yeah.
Because they were basing it on concept sketches and a shooting script. So in the very first Star Wars, there's stuff that never made it into the movie. So like Biggs Darklighter, who was Luke's mate.
Massive porn tash.
Big porn tash. Did he ever make it in the movie at all? I think he appears at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Briefly.
He's one of the last ones to die in the trench run.
Yeah. But no one cared because no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
But no, the Yoda thing, when they got around to adapting Empire, there was a shorter lead time, and also the big cliffhanger or the big twist in Empire is the fact that you find out that Darth what is Luke's dad. So they, I think the adaptation of Empire started after the movie had been released to avoid clash. But obviously, production times meant they started work on the comics a lot of time before. So Yoda, when he first appears in the Empire comic, is this kind of shorter, wizened, thinner-looking character, and he's blue, I think. But since then, they've actually drawn over it to make him look more like he does in the movie. So little discrepancies. But by the time they got round to Jedi, those kind of discrepancies were kind of few and far between. I think there's the only major differences in the Jedi adaptation is you don't see Yoda's death. You mentioned earlier about how they got rid of Boba Fett in the manga style Jedi. Same reason, it's just like lack of space. So junk that. And there's a bit of dialogue in the Jedi comic from Jabba the Hutt about talking about how he'd killed loads of Jedis before. Which was kind of sounded really, really cool. So it'd be nice to see that in the prequels, but no, we got Jar Jar.
Ah, well.
Yeah.
I'm a huge prequel apologist, to be fair.
I do want to watch them again, I think. I say I want to watch them. I feel I should watch them again. I know this Jar Jar stuff's going to really irk me. There's a really funny YouTube video again doing around where someone's taken that ridiculous scene from The Phantom Menace where you got those giant balls rolling down the hill and Jar Jar goofing about. And they've literally got it laid side by side with the beach storming from Rogue One. And they're saying like same franchise, 15 years between them, and it's like, oh man, it's like funny watching it. It's like how different.
Yeah. No, I like I say, I'm a huge prequel apologist. Like I fully went into it accepting that this was not a Star Wars built for me. This was for a new generation. And like you talk to kids, as we do. It's established that we talk to a lot of kids and buy them comics.
Yeah.
But like you talk to like 14, 15-year-olds, like, oh, do you like Star Wars? And they're like, what? What was you talking about? You're like, Star Wars with lightsabers, like, oh yeah, that Jar Jar Binks film. They love it. And like they've got no knowledge of like the 70s ones. Like I remember the work experience kid were like, do you want to go and see The Force Awakens? And he's like his only frame of reference was the prequels.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, I get it. They are kids' movies. And I remember having a heated discussion when they first came out with a friend of mine who was incensed by them. I was kind of, they're not very good, but I was like, you know what, it's not, like you said earlier, it's not for us. I was like, it's for kids. Yeah. It's a kids movie. Or sorry, it's a family movie.
Yeah.
So there are going to be loads of concessions to kids, You're right, kids have watched the prequels and prefer them. They're obviously idiots.
They're just kids.
Yeah.
They're just kids.
And I'm sure they'll see sense when they grow up.
Maybe.
So yeah.
I do have a question about the comics though.
Go on.
So Marvel had the license for the Star Wars comics from
Yes.
what, like 70.
They had it from
77 to 80 something,
It
and
was,
then Dark Horse
87.
over. Is that right?
Yeah, they had it for 10 years, so up until 87. 138 issues.
Not bad.
They basically,
Innings.
they kind of, they obviously at the end of Jedi, the Empire is kind of crushed. So from a comics point of view, you had to kind of continue the story. And they had, if I remember rightly, it wasn't very good. I remember I lost interest, but I think you have like the remnants of the Alliance and the Empire teaming up to fight against a whole new race of aliens, and they were just trying to scramble together material. So eventually the sales just dipped and got canned. And then, you're right, Dark Horse picked it up. Not for a long time, actually. I think it was probably closer to the launch of the first prequel movie in '99. But yeah, they had a good run. I mean, I never really read much of it. I tell a lie. No, they had it earlier. They had it for
It's 91.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. They did this storyline called The Dark Empire, which was written by John Wagner, I want to say, who co-created Judge Dredd.
Good guy.
Yeah, and British artist Cam Kennedy, and that was really good. Dark Empire was a really good sort of story.
Good guy.
And you had Palpatine come back as a clone, but a young clone. So that was good stuff.
I remember the novelizations of them, but
Yeah.
the comics were alien to me back then.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I think that's the only series I read. And I said they did sort of tie in with Phantom Menace, so you had spin-offs based on characters who were in the background. But yeah, it didn't really appeal to me. I think I wasn't so as impressed. But they had a good innings on that, and they reprinted lots of the old Marvel stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Marvel picked it up back in 2015. So we're getting a whole new run of stories set straight after A New Hope. And their editorial policy I actually quite like, where all the titles, bar the Anakin Obi-Wan spin-off and the Poe Dameron title, are all set in the same continuity. So they can do crossovers. So I think
Everyone
I
loves
quite
that
like
kind of crossover.
Yeah. So I'm quite liking that. That's me justifying why Rogue One was included. There you go. We spoke about Star Wars.
We've been with Rogue One for a long time.
We
Star
have.
Wars. Something tells me we're not done with Star Wars.
No, we're going to bring back Neil's favourite section from BAM, which is the Sinister Society of Stupid.
Yes.
But it's the Star Wars Sinister Society of Stupid.
You've worked
Oh my
you've worked
God.
in an extra S to it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So one of the characters that appeared during the Marvel run is Legendary, created for the comics. And
Never a good start.
Never a good start. So the backstory is the guy I mentioned earlier, Roy Thomas, who basically wanted to write the adaptation of Star Wars, was writing the comics after A New Hope was wrapped up. Very conscious that he didn't want to clash with anything that was going to happen in any future movies.
Yeah.
Which at the time hadn't been announced. We didn't know there was going to be an Empire Strikes Back. But we knew there was going to be something. So he decided to focus on Han Solo and the whole smuggler kind of aspects. He was pretty confident that what he could do there probably wouldn't clash too much with like Rebel Alliance, Empire storylines. One of the characters he created was obviously an intergalactic space rabbit called Jaxxon.
Ain't no rodent.
Ain't no rodent. Yeah, so I mean,
does he have a catchphrase?
Pretty much. I mean, I remember reading the comics and thinking it was pretty bollocks back then. So, but he's kind of taken on a bit of an iconic status, really.
So he's
He looks like he's wearing a weird Space Santa outfit. When you really look at it, it's quite funny.
So he's
He looks a bit like the Grinch.
He's a 6 foot tall green space rabbit in a
Yeah.
red flight suit. If you're familiar with Bucky O'Hare,
He preceded Bucky O'Hare. Maybe Bucky O'Hare was influenced by
it
him.
wouldn't surprise me. Or indeed Jazz Jackrabbit, if you were into that.
Or even like Rocket Raccoon. Like, you know, he's kind of like Rocket Raccoon, that kind of wisecracking.
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's what he was. But at the time, it just didn't work in the Star Wars universe, I don't think. And the kind of rumour that goes around is apparently George Lucas was so like disgusted by the character he got it pulled. But I don't think that's never been substantiated. I think it was just a case of people just realised it was a bit bollocks.
But I quite like how he was written out, though.
He got his ear burnt off at one point, and
Yeah. He had an agony inducer implanted into his ear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Christ, how did that come about?
I had a relationship with that man.
Someone put an agony-inducing implant into his burned-off ear.
Or he had it implanted and then basically he had his ear burnt off, part of his ear burnt off. But it was kind of
But
written
he
out.
escaped.
Yeah.
He escaped and then he fucked off,
Yeah.
and no one ever heard from him again.
No, apparently he's appeared in like novelizations and like the role-playing game they've done, but the only time I've ever seen him in the comics since then was one of the many variant covers they did for issue 1 of Star Wars in 2015.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
They did about 50 different variants, didn't they?
Yeah.
There's kind of a funny one where you've got...
it's really funny.
Yeah, Jaxxon trying to bang on a door. So I can hear you there, let me in. And you've got like the original cast in comic book style, trying to keep the door closed.
I remember...
Is it because he's so embarrassing?
Pretty much.
Right. Just wanted to be
Pretty
clear.
much.
I remember a certain podcaster won a competition to win every single variant of the new Star Wars comic from a certain shop previously mentioned on this very podcast.
How's that collection looking then? Is it
He didn't honour that winning. That's for another time.
Yeah.
Not that I'm bitter.
No.
Not that I'm bitter. Not that I have the bloody room for them either.
No.
So
That's Star Wars.
that was a sizable chunk of Star Wars.
I feel that every time we get to an end of the section, you should ring your balls.
Right,
So-
well, let me jingle for you.
There we go. Which brings us
He's on his
nicely in.
way. He's on his way.
Yeah,
Get the
into...
carrot milk out.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Hooray! Okay, what are we going into?
So, I want to make a statement.
Oh,
Feel
Christ.
free to disagree with me.
Right.
Actually, no, I'm going to pose a question.
Oh, God, okay.
Is Batman
Right.
the most Christmassy superhero of all?
It depends how you class a superhero, though, because I've been doing a
Nice.
bit of research.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Well, now, I don't know if you remember me saying ages ago, and I don't think it was on the podcast, it was in a phone call, and I said to you, it was last year. I was in a comic book shop, and I saw a comic book titled Claus, and it's a Santa Claus story. He's a kind of a superhero. And I don't think you can get much Christmassy than Claus.
But no one knows who Claus is.
No one knows who Batman is.
Everyone knows who Batman is.
Oh, not his identity, right. On you go.
Yeah.
On you go.
No, my argument is basically Batman is as the most iconic of superheroes. Is he the most Christmassy one?
Why do you think he's Christmassy?
Well, what Batman Returns? When's that set?
That admittedly is set over Festivus.
Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Origins video game. When's that set?
Christmas Eve.
There you go. Has Batman met Santa Claus?
I'm
Yes.
going to say, going by your festive themed sweatshirt, that yes, he has.
Yes. There is a good point. We should just go over to the legendary Batman, Adam West,
Right.
and Burt Ward as they meet Santa.
What's wrong, Robin? Tired? Dizzy?
I had a strange feeling, Batman. As if visions of sugar plums were dancing in my head.
They should be, boy wonder. It's almost Christmas. Ha, ho, 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 ho.
Welcome to Gotham City, Mr. Claus.
Why, call me Santa Claus, Batman. Everybody else does. Say, you tell me where the Batcave is, and I'll leave a little present in your stocking.
If you can't trust Santa, whom can you trust?
We can't tell you here, Mr. Claus, but we'll telephone you at the North Pole on the bat phone.
Good, good. I'll get to the Batcave if I have to slide down a bat pole instead of a chimney. Merry Christmas! Ho, 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 ho.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho.
And say hello to those 8 tiny reindeer for us.
I will! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, everybody!
So that is your cast iron proof that Batman is the most Christmassy superhero.
Well, he's also got the infamous Jingle Bells take, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
Let me hand over to Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Right.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Jingle bells, Batman smelt, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel, and the Joker got away. Crashing through the roof in a one-horse open tree. Busting out I go, laughing all the way.
I mean, I guess of all people, he will have a list of who's naughty and nice.
Yeah. But I don't know, I can't think of any other superhero who kind of fits as well with the whole Christmas spin-offs than Batman.
Huh?
Neil's not feeling it. Why aren't you feeling it then?
Fair enough. I forgot temporarily that it's Christmas and we needed a superhero that is into Christmas.
Well, not necessarily into Christmas, but what...
You just think he embodies the Christmas spirit?
Or that he fits... If you try and do spin-off Christmas stuff, I think the only hero superhero that kind of works best with that is Batman.
Right.
I don't know why. I can't tell you why. It just seems to fit better, whether it's...
I suppose at night he'd be lurking on your rooftops.
Yeah.
It's kind of an open goal. I guess you couldn't really have a Punisher Christmas.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
He has done.
Way to ruin Christmas.
He has punched a polar bear. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remind me, I'll send you a picture of that later.
Sounds awesome.
I'm sure other comic book heroes have had a Christmas, but you're right. In terms of actual media that we can access right now, Batman has had a lot of Christmas adventures.
But wasn't there also like a Batman had a Scrooge-esque storyline in a graphic novel that was it Lee Bermeo wrote called Batman Noel in 2011?
Oh, you're right. I haven't read that for years, but no, you're right.
I think Carly's just sunk your battleship.
Yeah. Well, she's backing up my argument.
I suppose.
No, I am. I'm backing it up. I mean, my claws thing was a bit of a stretch. I just wanted to throw a curveball in there, but that didn't really work. So,
do we draw a line under this then that Batman is the 2016 most Christmassy comic book character?
I think
we'll give it 12 months to research another.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, if you can think of a more Christmassy character than Batman, you've got 12 months to tweet us and make my life easier, and means that I have to do less research. So if you can think of a more Christmassy character that can usurp Batman, please let us know. Please let me know. You don't even have to CC Stu into it.
Keep me out of it.
Keep him out of it.
Okay then.
Good sting. Oh, sorry, my sting is my jingle balls. Yeah. Okay.
So it's come to that time.
Right.
Let's come out of the Christmas spirit.
Right, and go to war.
Let's go to war.
Civil war.
So do a recap.
Please do.
Yeah, do a recap.
So if you tuned in last episode, which of course you did, you would have heard numbers 10 through to 6 were number 10.
Right.
Incredible Hulk.
A good film that I've never seen.
Yeah. Number 9, Thor: The Dark World.
Good Thor film. Your most fun Thor film. Whoever voted for that was a wise man. Yeah.
That was you. Number 8, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Ooh, in there by default.
Number 7, Iron Man 3. Which, you know what? That was set at Christmas.
It was really fucking Joe on Batman.
Yeah,
it didn't end very. You had some Tony Stark in the snow, but it could have been Christmas.
Yeah. And number 6 was Ant-Man.
Great film. Probably the first strong contender for if you're going to introduce someone into Marvel movies.
You think?
Yeah.
Good entry-level one.
Good entry-level movie.
Not number 5,
right?
Which was Iron Man. The first of the movies.
Good film.
Did you see that first time around in the cinema?
I didn't see it in the cinema.
Because this was during the... Oh, we spoke about this. Cause
we did.
This was came around when you weren't frequenting the cinema.
That's right.
He was at college.
I was at college, or rather just out of college and destitute.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of goods. Well, I'm certainly hoping Iron Man 2 doesn't make it into the top 5, otherwise we're in trouble.
Oh.
Let's find out as we give the BAM definitive top 5.
Exactly. We don't really spend much time with Iron Man. If it wasn't for that one, it never would have made it. And I think if it wasn't for Downey Jr., I think was the reason that was a success.
If you're listening, Robert, cheers.
Yeah. Would you disagree? Would you agree or disagree with that?
No, that's totally fair. I think Iron Man caught many people unawares and kickstarted something beautiful.
So, number 4.
Wait, did we do number 5?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Wait, we finished at 6. So you're saying number 5 is the original Iron Man?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going quick fire.
Yeah, well, you seem to want to move on, so...
Oh, right, sorry.
We can dwell on it a bit more.
I don't even know if I have any other thoughts to Iron Man.
Do you have any thoughts, Carly, on Iron Man?
Not really.
I seem to remember Iron Man being marched out to die I don't feel that the studio were behind it. Who
think
did it?
it
Was
was-
it John Favreau?
John Favreau. I think there was a lot of risk involved.
Which he shouldered.
Yeah.
He
And
insisted on making it with Downey Jr. his pal.
But I also think that it wasn't just that. I think it was the fact that Iron Man wasn't a marquee character. He was a second-tier comic character.
Has he been seen on screen before this? Movies?
Animated series in the 90s.
Yeah.
He's not... You're right there, Mox. A lot of noise going in the background there.
It's just cracking.
Is that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it sounds like you're cracking a bullwhip, which
Okay.
you might be.
Yeah. Would you... In a parallel universe...
Right.
So, Tom Cruise was in line to play Tony Stark Iron Man.
Oh God, that would have just been awful.
There you go. That answered part of my next question.
I think.
What would you feel? Do you think it would have been as successful?
It would have made some bank, but I think it would have probably killed the Marvel's chances. I don't think you can take him seriously as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Is it intentionally that whoever was doing the casting had chosen between two of the tiniest men in Hollywood?
Well, the armour's quite tight to fit him.
And so wasn't he Robert Downey Jr.'s sponsor throughout? Yeah, I seem to remember that's why they're pals. Like he's been his sponsor through Alcoholics Anonymous and everything, which just makes him such a great Tony Stark.
Yeah,
because he's got his demons. He's got his
I
demons.
think that's why the casting works. It's kind of believable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, imagine that, though. Tom Cruise.
No.
I just don't see it working.
No.
It's terrible.
No.
It's good. Did it have a? Oh, it did have a villain. It had.
It had your man Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane.
I like Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Thus kickstarting Marvel's.
Well, yeah, the idea
forgettable
of
villains.
Yeah, I mean, it's still. I've found the ending of that a bit ambiguous. Like, it's not categorical that he was killed.
No, that's true.
That's
true.
In the comics, he was I think it was. Get my nerd hat on. Iron Man 200. There was a fight between Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane.
Yeah.
And Stane was wearing the Warmonger outfit, which he wears in the movie.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the comic, basically, Stark defeats him.
Mm.
And Stane's like, right, yeah, you've got me. But then uses his own repulsor blast and blows his own head off.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah. And an impressionable young age, that was a bit shocking, someone like...
I was reading, or watching rather, someone was saying like that, because it's in Queens the final fight is.
Yeah.
That one. Someone was saying like there's a tenuous link to possibly being like a young Peter Parker.
Oh, that's probably stretching, isn't it?
That's probably very stretching it, but imagine it turned out to be true after all this time. Imagine.
Segue off slightly.
Go on then.
So they've done a recent casting call for Avengers Infinity War.
Right.
And they've listed out a lot of the characters who are going to be in this.
Yes, I've
So we
heard.
know that Brie Larson's going to make her debut as Captain Marvel.
Good times, bring it on.
We know that most of the guys in the galaxy are going to turn up.
Yep.
Doctor Strange, we already knew.
Yep.
But notable by their absence,
Mm.
Mr. Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Mm.
So I wonder what's going on between there. That'd be a shame, doesn't make it to that.
He might.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah.
He
But
probably
anyway.
will. He probably will. All right, let's wing it back to number 4.
Let's web swing it back to Captain America Civil War. Look, it links, alright?
It does. It does.
works.
Because he's in that.
He's in that.
That's Spider-Man. Civil War, hey.
Well, we've spoken at length about this in a previous episode of BAM, and our opinions were different. I know that Carney and I liked it. You were not so keen.
I found it a bit tenuous that this is why they were fighting. And people choosing their sides and whatnot. They all just slotted in a bit too conveniently for me.
Okay.
On reflection, there's some amazing stuff in that film.
Yeah.
Amazing, like all the Bucky action sequences, the introduction of Black Panther.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. The sequence at the start in Nigeria. There's loads of great stuff in this movie, but it's not the one I reach for first if I just want to watch a superhero flick.
Fair enough. No, I still really, really like it. Although, in spite of reading someone's takedown of it, which I couldn't argue with, was the whole ending where you got Zemo at this Siberian outpost with the super soldiers and the videotape of Bucky killing Howard Stark.
Yeah.
This takedown was like, all right, I get that. Why don't you just mail the video to Stark? How do you know? But also that was like going, why don't you just mail the video because it's a lot easier? And also, how did he know that Stark was going to turn up at that base with Steve Rogers and Bucky? And I read that and I was like, oh, I can see where you're coming from, and I can't argue with that. But hey, it looked cool.
There was lots of character development in that, which I really liked, given it's, we've seen these characters over a course of a few movies now. So that is good, and that was appreciated.
Okay.
The fight that will go down in some time as one of the greatest superhero rumbles. It was incredible.
Well, and it also had a Star Wars reference. Empire Strikes Back reference. So,
again, the youth of the day didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, clever. No, because Peter Parker doesn't know what they're talking about.
Ah, right, okay, of course. Yeah.
Thus confirming everything we've ever said on this podcast.
We're old.
We're bloody old.
Yeah.
God. End us.
Should we jump on to number 3?
I was looking for an innuendo, but nope. Let's just go to 3.
Yeah.
The
first Avengers movie, Avengers Assemble.
There we go. I was waiting for this to crop up.
Yeah. Avengers Assemble in the UK. Yeah. Or Marvel's The Avengers in the US, I believe.
I would have thought this was first, so that's interesting. I wonder what 2 and 1 are now.
Yeah.
Great film. Great popcorn film.
It still bears up with repeat viewing. Like you say, it's popcorn viewing, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit daft. It's a bit cheesy in parts.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just sold just having the Hulk back on screen. For me, that's the most thing I was excited about.
Oh yeah, that definitely steals the show.
Yeah. And Ruffalo was fantastic.
It really was.
I think it's good because it's the first time you're seeing that. It's the first time on screen that you're seeing them all together, so there's that excitement to it. Then by the time you get to the next ones, it's like you already kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, I remember definitely being excited for them all to be united.
Yeah.
I'd bought into the hype by then, and I was really keen to see it happen.
Yeah, for me it was also more of a surprise because they had that plan in place not long after the Hulk came out. They were saying, "Oh, we're definitely going to do an Avengers, and it's going to be, 4 years down the line." I remember thinking, "Man, if that actually happens, that's amazing." But every time a new movie came out, like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man 2, I was thinking, "Oh, this could be the one that kind of sinks it."
Yeah,
I was genuinely surprised it actually happened.
Yeah, I remember being really pleased as the credits roll. It's like, oh, finally, we've arrived.
Yeah.
Comic book films are here. And now, a couple of years later, we're like, oh, God, not more comic book films.
That's it.
A glut of comic book movies. Give us a break.
Oh, yeah, to 2017, we're going to get 3 Marvel movies for the first time. And I think there's going to be 3 movies for the next few years from them alone.
I'm very glad that they're starting to move away from Tier 1 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll capture the same hype, but wow, what a film. What a great film.
Yeah, we like that.
I think we must have all voted for it to be number 3. I can't believe it's not number 1.
Well, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Shall I... Well, what do you think is coming up then? What's your suspicions then? If it's not the Avengers, have you got any theories about what it could be?
No, I've drawn a...
You have seen it, you just can't remember, can you?
Yeah, no, I've drawn a complete blank as to what it could be now. Crumbs.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to say my favourite Marvel movies have been mentioned, and then Stu's going to say one, and I'll be like, oh yeah, of course, that one.
Well, here we go.
Right, tell me, number 2.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh god, and that isn't number 1.
Nope.
It's even more surprising.
Criminally, it's not number 1. Not happy about this.
Well, there we go. Just as we were saying, we were getting a bit tired of the formula.
Yeah.
Along came Winter Soldier, and just flipped it on its head and took everything in the Marvel timeline down a darker path.
Yeah, I think it's probably my all-time favourite superhero movie, particularly because it kind of flips it on its head, and it's more of a 70s conspiracy thriller than anything else. And I just think, I loved it. Absolutely loved it from beginning to end. The action sequences were really kinetic, and when you see Steve Rogers.
Oh, the fight scene with Bucky.
Well, even before that, when he raids the ship, the terrorist ship, and he's literally booting people off the side of the boat and using his shield as knocking people left, right, and centre. It just felt physically. It's stuff you see in the comic, which I'll skip through and go, oh, that's really cool. When you see it realised on the big screen, it actually has that kind of physical impact.
Yeah.
Where people do go flying, and it feels like bones are being broken. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making me want to go back and rewatch it.
So you should. And then maybe reconsider why you didn't put it as number 1.
No, I'll never reconsider because I think that I made the right choice.
We'll soon find out. And then, yeah, I mean, even from the start, the relationship with Falcon, that was really good and believable. And then just the veils dropped and everyone's like, Hell Hydra! And you're like, oh shit! All this time, it's really been Hydra's... Like, if you sat through the first Captain America and bought into the whole Hydra thing, and all this time...
Well, was it Sitwell, who was in like loads of the other movies, who ends up being ripped out of the car by Bucky, and I presume he's dead, but like, it's pretty much must be dead.
Must be dead.
Well, broke his arm anyway.
Yeah.
So that was a real shocker and a really cool twist. Kind of slightly undone if you watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series, which kind of...
Give it a skip.
Yeah, don't bother. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well... Crumbs, what on earth could number 1 be then?
See, most people listening to this are probably screaming, going, well, it's going to be this, isn't it? It must be this.
Yeah, but they've probably listened to them back to back. Many things have happened since the last Bad podcast.
So keeping into the Top of the Pops thing.
You
know I'm not going to use that music.
You're going to use
the Phil Lynott.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so counting down from 10 through to 2. 10 is the Incredible Hulk.
That's it.
In at number 9, Thor: The Dark World.
It's okay.
Yeah, crashing in at number 8, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Sympathy.
What the fuck's it doing there? Number 7, Iron Man 3.
It's okay.
Okay. Number 6, can't see him, he's so small.
It's Ant-Man.
There we go.
Great film. The first great film.
Best thing you've ever done.
Yeah. That's the first great film in this countdown.
The original, some would say still the best, Iron Man.
Good film. I'm Iron Man.
What's all the ruckus, guys? Can't we all talk it out? It's Captain America: Civil War at number 4.
Jesus.
I'm stretching here. Number 3, Avengers Assemble. And number 2, it's a bit chilly in here. It's Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Someone close that window. He's letting a draft in. It's the Winter Soldier.
I like it. And number 1,
right?
It's not Star Wars. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of course, the dark horse of the Marvel.
It's a very good movie.
It's brilliant.
Do you know what though? I kind of feel that it doesn't fit in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Controversial, because it is very much a standalone movie.
Yeah.
And is it a superhero movie or is it a science fiction movie?
It's a science fiction movie.
But it's a great movie, and as much as I feel it should be Winter Soldier at number 1, I can't argue that it's deserving of being in the top 3 at least.
And it also kind of, I wasn't really that much of a fan of Ant-Man. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really know what to make of it. But Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of in that same ilk, where it's going kind of against the traditional format or what you would expect of a Marvel movie. And they did it really well, and the soundtrack is really good.
It is good.
It's funny. It's genuinely funny as well. It's good.
The soundtrack is definitely the hidden weapon.
Yeah.
And as they're putting together the hero shots in the trailer, and they've got Cherry Bomb on the go, and you're like, yes, this film's going to be amazing. I remember being stunned when I heard that this was optioned, and I refused to believe it until I saw the trailer. That here comes a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I never thought we would see this day.
I thought that was going to be the one that was going to...
Oh, yeah. You're not alone.
End their run. I thought it was going to be the one that's going to just... I don't know, I wasn't convinced. I just thought it was going to be... It wouldn't work.
Such an underdog.
Yeah.
Even in comic worlds.
Yeah.
You can't just... Or you couldn't have just given Guardians of the Galaxy to someone and expected them to get on with it.
No.
And everything about it was so right. The humour... It's the one that's played most often in our house, and the whole start, the I'm not in love and the mum dying, that turns me off, and I'm really bored of seeing it, and I'm just like, do we have to watch this again? And straight away it just kicks in with Alien Planet and Redbone, and you're like, oh yes, no, I'm watching the whole thing now. It's amazing.
It was great.
I'm nervous for the second one, because it's got big shoes to fill, but I hope that they do a good job of it.
Do you know what, though?
I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, that I wasn't excited about the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was convinced it was going to end Marvel's run. I'm not nervous about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I think, we've seen some good stuff in the trailer, but I know there's so much more we haven't seen yet. Like, we haven't seen Kurt Russell.
No.
We haven't seen Stallone.
No.
Like, that's what I'm really interested about. Is like,
Tango and Cash reunited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got Clem Pontief as Mantis, which in the brief bit we've seen in the trailer, she could be like the breakout character, something new and exciting for us to see. I'm sure Groot and Rocket Raccoon and Drax are going to be entertaining as they were in the last one, but I think it'd be good to have something fresh and new in this as well.
I do remember almost wanting to tweet Batista after I've seen it. I think I might have done, actually.
Drunk tweets?
Just drunk tweets, and just apologised to him for writing him off as as a WWE guy, he's going to be terrible. And he just made the movie for me.
He was great in that, and that's why it was a real shame that when he appeared in the last Bond movie, Spectre, he was terrible in it. But not his fault. I just think he was given nothing to do. He was just like henchman number one.
Oh yeah. Drax definitely plays to his strengths. He's got great comic timing. He can really turn on a performance. But Mr. Jinx, not so much. Not so much. But oh god, it's so good.
Yeah. So what we got first? We've got that first in May.
Yeah.
And then July we've got Spider-Man: Homecoming. And then October, I believe, we've got Thor: Ragnarok.
Have we not got Black Panther before then?
That's the year after.
Oh, really?
Oh, so long to wait.
Yeah, I can't think whether that comes before Avengers or not. I can't remember now.
Well, I'm really curious, and again, it's great that they're moving away from Tier 1. I think there's two possible threats to the whole Marvel universe. The first is like Captain Marvel, because she's too fantastical for me.
Well, she's like will be the most powerful character in the Marvel universe if they keep it to the comics.
So I've not seen Doctor Strange, I'm not sure how the gelling is going to work between Captain Marvel and your regular Avengers cast.
Right.
I'm nervous about that, and the other thing that I'm nervous about is just the aliens of Guardians of the Galaxy crashing into the Avengers. It'll either be amazing or it'll just be a stretch too far. I mean, I know they cross over all the time in the comics.
But it's different, isn't it? It's going to be like a culture clash.
Yeah.
But I think where Marvel plays up to its strengths is it doesn't take things too seriously. If it played it po-faced, I think it would just look terrible.
Because we're always teetering on the edge of Marvel movies of acknowledging there is a race of gods and as Guardians, and there is a parallel dimension where these bad guys come from. But this will be the first confirmation. Once these two clash together, we have to accept the Avengers live on one planet in a huge galaxy of planet with tons of aliens and everything, and that might be a huge tonal shift. I'm not sure it'll work. I'm sure it probably will. But then
there's another thing that they may not take the approach of having them physically in the same space at the same time. It could be there could be, obviously Thanos is the main bad guy, but there could be lieutenants who, are after the guys of the galaxy, far off in the universe, and you'll have something based on Earth with a human threat.
Yeah.
They may keep those separate. So imagine it's like a Lord of the Rings where you've got those kind of battles taking place on different fronts.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that's the approach they may take. Because I'm sure they sat there and thought these characters on screen at the same time might not work. But then saying that, everyone wants to see, the likes of Hulk and Groot meet. Because that could be, just for the pure comedy value of Groot saying I am Groot, and then you've got Hulk just going.
We're going to find out. Yeah. We're going to find out. I'm very excited for Guardians 2. What a worthy number one it was.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I still think it should be Winter Soldier, but there you go.
It's because you don't trust any friends.
I don't trust. Yeah, exactly.
They'll betray me all in the end.
It's a conspiracy. There you go.
He goes, there we go. You've tied that.
Hail Hydra!
After all this time, after 20 episodes, it's revealed that Stu was working against us this whole time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that's it. That's our end of our top 10. Definitive, never to be repeated until next year.
No.
So feel free to tweet or message us as to why you agree. If you disagree, just don't talk to us about it. It's fine.
Nah, it's fine. You can tweet us. Agree or disagree. Either way, let us know. And by this time next year, there'll be enough Marvel movies to throw the whole thing into contention again.
Where would the likes of Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man,
find out in 12 months' time.
Yeah.
That's the end of episode 20. We'll be
It
off
is.
to get some mince pies, or in Carly's case, some pineapple or Mai Tais.
Papaya.
Oh, papaya. Forgive me. There we go. The 20 whole episodes. Thank you for either sticking with us or discovering us. And yeah, keep your tweets and your input incoming. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's Neil Gortz with a Z. Where can they find you, Stu?
They can find me under Stoonami.
And where can they find you, Carly?
Demoxinator.
Yeah, you can. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Have a great holiday.
Hang on.
Oh, we're bringing it back. Cancel your holiday.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to hand it over to Chewbacca.
All right.
And that's another video from the very talented James Covenant. Give him a follow on YouTube.
Give him a follow.
And this is
Like,
another.
comment,
We're
subscribe.
going to end on a Christmassy theme.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone, and enjoy this.
Bye.
Bye.
This is ridiculous.
Ho, 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 ho.